I became a surrogate for my boss's baby until I discovered she was planning to fire me after delivery. When Meredith, CEO of Imperial Epions, asked if I would consider being a surrogate for her and her husband, I was honored after 5 years as her executive assistant. I'd witnessed her failed attempts and devastating miscarriages. "Julia, you are the healthiest person I know," she said. "We'd compensate you generously, of course. The $75,000 fee would pay off my student loans and start a college fund for my kids." I signed the contract, and 3 months later I was pregnant with Meredith's baby girl. She arranged premium parking near the elevator, insisted I take breaks, and had organic lunches delivered daily. She attended every appointment, weeping when we heard the heartbeat. Around month 4, subtle changes began. Meredith started introducing me as our surrogate rather than by name. She placed hands on my growing belly without asking, sometimes during meetings. When I mentioned discomfort, she would smile tightly and say, "Small price to pay for our miracle." By month 6, she'd installed a tracking app on my company phone. Her texts became constant. "Did you drink enough water today? I noticed you were at Newston for 40 minutes. Were you standing that whole time?" Then I overheard a conversation I wasn't meant to hear. I was working late and Meredith was with Diane from HR, their voices carrying through the partially open door. "We'll need to start interviewing replacements soon," Meredith said. "I want someone ready to step in immediately after Julia delivers." "Are you sure about terminating her?" Diane asked. "Julia's been with you for 5 years. She'll have served her purpose," Meredith replied. "Besides, do you really think I want to see my child's birth mother every day? Better for everyone if she moves on." My hand instinctively went to my belly. 7 months, along with a child I'd grown attached to, despite my efforts to maintain emotional distance. I reviewed my contract with new eyes. There was nothing requiring me to maintain employment with Meredith, but she was required to provide health insurance through delivery and 6 weeks postpartum. I contacted my lawyer and began documenting every interaction with Meredith, her controlling behavior, inappropriate comments, and boundary violations. At my 8-month appointment, I requested a meeting with both Meredith and her husband, Greg. "I've been thinking about my transition back to work," I began calmly, "especially since you are planning to terminate my employment immediately after I give birth." Greg's head snapped toward his wife. "What is she talking about?" "I overheard your conversation with Diane," I continued. "Our contract requires you to provide health insurance through 6 weeks postpartum." Meredith's face drained of color. "You misunderstood. I have recordings and documentation of increasingly inappropriate workplace behavior that would constitute pregnancy discrimination." I laid out my terms, a guaranteed 2-year contract with a raise, full benefits, and a formal agreement about boundaries. Either that or I would file a discrimination suit that would become very public. The baby was born 3 weeks later. I returned to work after 12 weeks to a new role as Lanza director with a team of my own. Meredith and I maintain a professional relationship. I see Sophia occasionally when she visits the office. Sometimes tears, a flicker of possessiveness in Meredith's eyes when Sophia smiles at me, but it passes quickly. The $75,000 sits untouched in an account for Sophia's future. A gift she may never know came from the woman who carried her, but fought to be seen.